Hi students, today we are going to format your final draft in MLA format. The first thing you need to know is we are in Google Docs. Put your paper into Google Docs, copy paste it in there because all the instructions are going to be based on Google Docs. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my margins. So I'm going to go to File, Page Setup right there. And I am going to set all of my margins to 1 inch. So see margins over here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 on every side, okay? My team, 1, 1, 1, 1, go team. If it's not already 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, change it. Ooh, I said it too many times. And then save it as your default and click OK. You may have to do some pausing in this video. I'm going to move kind of fast. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alignment. I need to highlight all of my text. Now you can drag your mouse over your text while clicking to highlight it all, or you can click Windows A or Apple A or Control A. I guess it just depends on your keyboard, and that will select all text. Okay, and I'm going to go up. You may or may not have these 3 dots, but what you're looking for is this little button here. It says align and indent if you mouse over it. All right, and I am going to click left align. Left align, okay, not center, not right align. Justified makes every line the exact same length, which is nice, but we are going to left align this paper according to MLA format. There we go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the font. Font should always be in Times New Roman size 12. Now the Times New Roman part is a Miss Broadway thing, not necessarily an MLA thing. MLA just says it should be in a readable font, but I prefer to read Times New Roman. So please make it Times New Roman, and the size should be 12. And of course the color should be black. I love colorful font, but not for MLA essays. And there should be no bold. So I just hit the B a couple of times. I bolded everything and then I unbolded everything to make sure there was no bold here. All right. The next step I'm going to complete is the spacing. Your spacing should be double. Line spacing, it just is the space between each line. Okay, so if I click on this button right here, I could click double, but the problem is some of you have some wonky default settings. So go ahead and go down to custom spacing, and click that, and this will come up. If you have any numbers in the before and after boxes, set them to 0. Some of you have like a 12 or a 20 in there. Set those to 0, and then set line spacing to 2 because double is 2, right? Just double checking that those before and after boxes are 0, line spacing is 2, and I'm going to click apply, and looky there. Now it looks like I have skipped a line between every single line of text. You want to do that through formatting, not through hitting enter after every line, because that will really mess you up. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my heading. The heading is your name, your professor's name, the course name, and the date written in military style. Okay. So I put my name at the top because it's my essay, but you're going to put your name at the top because it's your essay, and then you'll put my name after that because I'm the professor, right? So you can put Miss Broadway, you can put Broadway, you can put Christina Broadway, you can even put Mrs. Broadway. Mrs. Means the wife of, and I am the wife of Mr. Broadway, so you could put Mrs. I go professionally by Miss Broadway. MS period. And then the class is English 101 or whatever class you're in. Maybe you're in my 201, 202, 301. Put the correct class and write the date in military date. That's day, month, year. You can abbreviate the month with 3 letters and a period, but I recommend just writing the month out. All right. Next, we're going to make the header. Now, you're going to notice that the header, you can't see it, okay? It's supposed to go at the top of the document. You don't want to just type it randomly into the text portion of the document. We're actually looking for a secret hiding place in the document. So let me show you what that looks like. As you can see, my screen looks like an image of a piece of paper. If I put my mouse all the way up at the top of the piece of paper and double click, the header will appear. If you are having difficulty finding it, you could also go to Insert and Header, and that will open the header for you as well. Okay, make sure you're working in the actual header. What the header does is it puts the same text on every single page. Okay, for some reason, it defaults to a different font, so go ahead and set it to Times New Roman size 12, and then go ahead and right align it. Align it so that it is coming from the right side of the paper. And what we want is your last name, not mine. I'm going to type my own, but you're putting your own last name with a space. And we're going to add the page number. There's the space. Okay, now it's really important that you don't just type in the page number. You want to actually go to options and click page numbers. Here's why. If I just type in a 1, because this is page 1, look what happens. Every page will say page 1. Okay, I wanted to actually count the number of pages in my document. So I'm going to take this one away and I'm going to click page numbers. And now look, Broadway. Oh yeah, it brings up this little box. Header, yes, I wanted my header. I want it on the first page. I do want it to start at page 1. And I'm going to click apply. And now look at what I do when I scroll through. I have Broadway 1, Broadway 2, Broadway 3. Again, yours should not be Broadway unless your last name is Broadway. It should be your own last name up there. All right, go ahead and click out of that header and let's do the title. The title is nothing special, meaning the only thing you do to it is center it. It should not be large. It should not be bold. It should not be underlined or curly or anything crazy like that. I love all that stuff, but that is just not the standard for MLA. So size 12 Times New Roman, centered, that's it. In fact, you see all this extra space before and after the title? Get rid of it. I know that feels strange to not have extra spaces between the title and the text, but we're just not going to do that, okay? That's not the correct formatting. Next, I'm going to indent each paragraph. Somewhere along the way, some teacher has taught someone that you hit space 5 times to get an indention. I've never met a teacher that teaches that, but I always have students who think that's how you get an indention. The way you get an indention is you click right before the paragraph and you hit the Tab key. So if you look on your keyboard, it is diagonally down and to the left of the number 1 at the top of your keyboard. It is a Tab key. Hit the Tab key to get the indentions. Okay. All right, continuing on, I'm just going to go through and remove any extraneous spacing. You can see that a lot of my paragraphs, between each paragraph, I have a lot of blank lines. That's extraneous. Okay, we don't need that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to delete any crazy extra blank lines that I have. See that? I don't want anything like that. My whole paper should be evenly spaced, even between the heading and the title and the body. Everything should be the same spacing. After that, I'm going to complete a spelling and grammar check. I'm hoping that you already did this. If you're in my class, I'm hoping you already did this with Grammarly before you even turned in a rough draft. But go ahead and go through and check the spelling and grammar. One of the things that spelling and grammar checks like to do is say that Shakespeare was wrong and say that the Shakespeare quotes have mistakes. If you have copied that quote perfectly, that's what it is. Do not change it. You don't get to change Shakespeare's words. The spelling and grammar checker doesn't get to change Shakespeare's words, okay? If it's trying to correct Shakespeare, click ignore because you want to ignore that suggestion. But if you're like me and you have a few spelling errors or whatever else I put in here so that we could catch a few errors, go ahead and correct those. If your own words were mistaken or you made a few little errors, go ahead and accept those, but ignore the suggestions for correcting Shakespeare. Remember that in MLA format, we do not use contractions. I like to tell you that if you don't want to have a baby, don't have contractions, okay? And to remove the contractions, I like to use this tool called the Find tool. Now in Edit, there's actually a Find and Replace tool. This is really nice if, like, let's say you wanted to find one specific word and replace it with something, or one specific character and replace it with something. Like maybe I wrote a story and my main character's name was Sue, and then I decided I wanted to change her name to Jessica. I could go in and find all the Sues and replace all the Sues with Jessicas, which is nice. But for the sake of this, I just want to use a finder. So I click Apple F, Windows F, whatever my keyboard is telling me to click. One of those controls will bring up this finder, and I search for an apostrophe. You can see I have 27 apostrophes in my paper here. If it is just a possessive adjective like Juliet's wedding day, that's fine. But if I have a contraction, which is two words put together, like can't, don't, won't, couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't, I have to remove those and just go ahead and write them out. Cannot, will not, did not, could not, okay? I'm also checking here for first and second person pronouns. These are words like I, we, you, us. When we include those, they're not quite as formal, and certainly if we include a lot of yous and we and us, it can get a little bit preachy. So we remove all of those because that is not appropriate for academic writing in this situation. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and make sure that I have formatted the title of the play correctly. A title of a long work should be italicized. Okay, if I'm just talking about the characters, Romeo and Juliet, like you see here, I will not italicize just their names, like I'm speaking about them conversationally. But if I am using those names as in I'm saying the title of the play, I do italicize. Oh, I hope that makes sense. All right, and that is it. You've done it. You have formatted your paper. I know that this went fast, so I hope that you paused along the way and were able to catch all the steps. If you need to see the steps in writing, you can check your workbook. And if you have any further questions, please send me a message. And I cannot wait to see your final drafts. Bye.